and thanks for stopping by the Sister Cousins Lifestyle channel. My name is Sandy, and in today's video, we are going to be continuing with the refresh or the makeover of my loft. I think this is the third video in this series, so if you haven't seen those, be sure to go back there and check those out just so that you can see our beginning point. But today, we've made a little bit more progress. In our last video, I shared the lighting and the new ceiling fans that I've added for this area, and today I'm going to show you a decision that you guys weighed in on from my last video. I was kind of torn as what to do with my wall art, and I was asking for suggestions, and I got a lot of really good suggestions, and I have made a decision, and I'm going to be sharing that today as well. So if you'd like to see how it all turns out, keep watching. So I shared that I found these pieces of art from Ross recently, and I thought they would be perfect for this space. I found these two. They look like a crack is there, but it's not. That's just the way that it's made, and I just love the texture and the interest of these. And so I thought that I would put one of these on either side of that first piece of art that I shared. And then I had some other art that I was also considering to put up there instead. I considered using this piece here that was originally there with the new art pieces on the side. And I also considered using some puzzles that I had. And so this is what I decided for the wall art. It's hung a little bit higher than I wanted, and that's because I had some repairs that need to be made to the wall. And I didn't want to make them at this time because I have pretty much committed to painting this wall. I'm not sure what color yet and none of that, so we'll figure that out later. But I just wanted to put the artwork up because I had it. It was a perfect spot for it. So it covered up all the imperfections and everything. And so we'll live with it for now. But this is what it's looking like, and I'm loving it. So yeah, I put the two pieces. I did hang that one horizontally instead of vertically the way that the clips were. So we had to move the hangers to do that. And yeah, it's just under this small table here. And I got my burl wood boxes that I shared in my haul. I've just kind of put those here, and I've got those remotes and things in there. Just a little plant here and a little fig and amber candle and my Alexa Echo. So yeah, that's how it's looking. Now, what I had been considering prior to making that decision were my puzzles that I like to complete and then frame them. And so I still have to find a place for those because I love them. I've worked on them for a long period of time, and they are quickly turning out to be my favorite pieces of wall art just because of the work that I put into them. So I have this wall over here that I've always just had these two pieces hung here. This is a map of my home state of Michigan, and then there is a Detroit street map here. And so I decided that I would utilize this wall. So I've put the one puzzle here, and the rest of my puzzles, I'll continue to add them to the wall here. I've got this one here, but I think I'm going to have to get a new frame for it. That's why that's not up. But yeah, the plan is to make this my gallery wall with all of my puzzles and everything. So that'll be really fun to complete those. So now you're probably wondering, what are you going to do with the home sign that you had? I'm glad you asked. Sometimes in decorating around my home, it's just a matter of moving things from one place to the next. So I did a little DIY on that picture frame, and I'm going to actually do some shuffling here, and I'm going to put my Michigan map right up here on my travel gallery wall. Perfect spot for it. Don't know why I didn't think of that before. Actually, it was my sister that came by that said, why don't you move it over there? And I'm like, great idea. So that's what I'm going to be doing with that. It's all done. I've done the DIY. I just need to go in here and decide how I'm going to shuffle things around to put it up there. So another thing that I said I would be changing out in this space is this old rug that I've had forever, and it was time for it to go. It never fit this space at all, and now it is time to do an upgrade. However, I had another rug in another space in my house that was actually too large for that space. So I just decided to swap that rug and put that in here and to get a new space for the other space. So here is the rug before I moved it. Never would have considered putting it in that other space, but let me show you what it looks like once we got it moved over in there. But first, this was a perfect opportunity to do some vacuuming. I've had to move the sofa back in order to accommodate the larger rug. And I tell you, I found all kinds of things on this floor. It's just amazing how things just kind of get shoved up under sofas and things like that. So this cleaning here is long overdue. So yeah, I'm just trying to get that all cleaned up, and then we're going to go ahead and move the new rug in. So I moved the rug in, and then I took a seat down to determine if I liked it. So I laid it this way first because I really wanted to see the full grain of the rug. I love this rug, but it just was too large for the space and wasn't working. So I did end up having to turn it the other way. But I sat here for a little while debating what I wanted to do. So you will see that it will get turned because that was a much, much better fit. So here it is turned this way, and I still like it, and you can still see, the all the print in it and everything. And I'll push the sofa back up so they'll be right up against the rug. But yeah, it's coming together nicely. So I've already purchased another rug for my den room, and you can see here that it's going to be a monochromatic look. And I know you're probably thinking, but I thought you were going with color. I am, but I've decided I'll add the color in different ways. So stay tuned for that. So I am really, really liking this rug in this space. I'm going to give you a closer look of it, but this was a good move to move this out of my Zen room, office space, whatever, into this space. It's, a larger rug, and so this space really needed something larger. So liking that a lot. And I've just kind of added some pillows, which I'll give you a closer look to my sofa. These were all pillows that I already had, and I just kind of brought them out. I'm working with a gray sofa, obviously. And so these are colors that I wouldn't typically pair together, but these days, anything goes, whatever you like, do it. So I've paired these brown, beige. I've got this animal print pillow. This one here I did just pick up. I was at Kirkland the other day and they had this for 60% off. So I think it was like $8 or something like that. So I decided to pick that up. But gray is not a color that I would typically pair with browns or whatever, but I'm actually liking it, and I actually like it with the rug as well. So, again, don't get tied up into if you do have colored furniture or different colors or whatever. Play around with different colors and patterns and things and see what you come up with. But I like it. I like the way that it came out. Now, I don't know if you are like me, but in my home, if something doesn't really have a place to go, it just ends up in a corner somewhere. And my goal this year is for everything to have a place to go. And if it doesn't, then something needs to leave so that I can, have everything in its proper place. I don't like visual clutter. It drives me crazy. These are my granddaughter's toys that don't have a home. And I've got this little plant here that's just kind of there next to this other plant. I do not like the planter that this is in. I love the plant. It is a faux bird of paradise plant, which is one of my favorites. So I definitely want to keep it, but I want to do a little bit of a makeover with it just to kind of make it a little bit more modern or updated a little bit. So I'm taking these wood chips out of here that I had in here. I had a bunch of bags, plastic bags and whatnot in here just to kind of anchor the plant to make it stand up. So I'm just removing all of that. And I do have a new planter that I'm going to be using for this plant. I also had a box in there that I put in there just to raise it up to make it a little bit taller. And I picked up this planter here from Bed Bath and Beyond. I fell in love with the one that they had at Crate and Barrel, but it was way too expensive. So I went on the search using Google Lens for a dupe that is very, very, or not very, very, but more costly. And of course, with Bed Bath and Beyond, you can still use your coupons, even though they are an online store now. But anyway, I purchased it. I put my bird of paradise in there, still on that cardboard piece in there just to raise it up. And then I'm adding cardboard in here. You're going to see me add some styrofoam in there, all of the things just to kind of try to anchor this to make it stay in place. Now it's really looking crazy right now, but the purpose of this was so that I don't have to put so much of my filler that I wanted to use. I'm going to use stones in here, but first I'm going to put some rock. But I got started with the stone first. You'll see me go back and I've added the moss to it now, and then I'm going to add these stones. Now these are some stones that I had left over from a landscaping project, so they're actually stones for outside, and they've got a lot of that residue that keeps coming off on my hand, so you will see that. I wish that I'd had the regular river stones that you get for crafting, but that's not what I had, and so we're going to use them, and then I'm going to just clean off the planter and everything, clean the floor around it and everything, and as long as they're not touched, I think they'll be fine. Now, once I got done adding the stone, I remembered that I had these lights here that I purchased to use in a planter and never did it. Now, ideally, you wouldn't see this, but I'm just kind of playing around now just to kind of get an idea of what it'll look like. I wouldn't want to really have this one buried anyway because it does not have a timer on it, and so you have to get to the mechanism to turn it on. You're going to see that I'm going to move that, but that's kind of the look that you would get. Also, speaking of visual clutter, I've got this area over here, this old TV stand that I've had for a long time, and I'm on a quest to kind of make things look a little bit more organized and a little bit more modern. So I am going to do some changes with some decor that I have over here. Nothing major here, but I'm just going to kind of move things out and kind of declutter a little bit and make it a little bit more visually pleasing. This place easily becomes a catch-all space. I just kind of put anything here. You can still see that white residue on my hands from doing that other project. It's okay. I need to go wash my hands and put some lotion on. But anyway, we're moving everything out of here. We're going to dust everything off and move things around to just make this a little bit less congested. I have had this TV stand forever. It's really, really old, and it was, out at a time where we had different types of equipment for our TV, which is very different now. Like this was a space for VCRs and DVD players, things like that. So I'm just going to put some books in here now just to kind of make it a little bit modern. And I'm playing around right now. That little piece there I bought back from my travels years ago. Don't really remember from where I got it, but this is a nice little place to kind of display some of those things. But you're going to see that that's going to change because I found that I was making it look a little bit cluttered again, which is what I was trying to get away from. So the end result, I think, was the better option all along. But you see me going through the whole process here. I'm just adding as I'm trying to get rid of clutter, right? But that's the fun of decorating to me. It's like it's an art, you kind of do things and you see what works and you change it if it doesn't work, make revisions or whatever, remove items, whatever you feel is best. There's no right or wrong. It's just a matter of what mood you're in and what you want to see at that moment. Now, this is what I landed on. I'm happy with it for now. But again, as long as I'm moving things around in my home, I may find something else that may fit better and I may make a change in the future. But for right now, I like it. It's simplified, it's not as cluttered, and I do love that. Now, definitely stay tuned for the next video update of this room because I am far from finished, but this is where we'll stop for today. Well, that's it for today's video. I hope that you have enjoyed this video and this progress of me remaking or making over this space in my home. If you've enjoyed it, please don't leave today without giving me a thumbs up. Also, if you're not currently subscribed, why don't you go ahead and consider hitting that subscribe button and the post notification bell. That way you can see additional updates on my decorating on this project and others around my home. I would appreciate it and would love to have you as a part of my YouTube family. To my returning family members, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope to see you over here on my next one. Bye-bye.